Gloucester, Virginia. This relatively small community saw a big battle between its citizens and 4 members of its Board of Supervisors.
It started on a January morning in 2008. I was sitting at my breakfast table reading the morning paper, and my wife said, "Oh my gosh, you have to hear this." And she started reading Matt Sabo's article about the board meeting of January 2 and 3. As she read, I became infuriated. It became clear that a small group of our supervisors had gotten together in secret and had plotted their moves for that meeting. One of the first things they did was fire the county attorney and the county administrator, summarily, humiliatingly, and embarrassingly. Then, to add insult to injury, that very same few moments they hired a friend of the board chair to be the interim county administrator at the meager salary of $10,000 a month. I just became even more enraged. Their offenses against decency continued throughout the meeting and into the future. Even when we called them on it, they just ignored us. They continued to, in my opinion, serve their own agendas instead of serving the needs of the county.
Local citizen Gar Johnson was equally outraged. He knew the Board of Supervisors could be removed at the ballot box, but the next election was years away. So after doing some research, he discovered elected officials could be removed by petition.
I started out trying to find out from the voter registrar, tried to get the forms to effect a recall petition. We found out there wasn't a recall petition, it's a removal petition. Then we tried to get the forms that the people collecting signatures could use. There was no form available. So we took a form that they instructed us to use and marked it up. Then we took it to 3 different attorneys who volunteered to look at it. They all passed on the form that we came up with. We took it back to the registrar's office. They said it was fine. And then we launched off on Mission Impossible.
We set up in various places all over the county, mainly at very visible, very accessible places such as the post office, the library. We even set up on Route 17 where we could hit people coming home from work. We had a funny instance where a lady actually saw the sign where we were collecting, couldn't turn in because she was headed south on 17, drove across the bridge, made a U-turn, came back, pulled off and actually signed a petition and then turned around and went back to work. So we had people that would show up at where we were sitting collecting petitions that were in a walker, that could barely make it up to the table. Some could barely see. We had black, white, red, independents, Democrats, Republicans, whatever, people of all walks of life coming and signing and saying most of the time, you know, I voted for those people, but I am so upset and so disappointed in how they have acted and how we just really want to see them gone.
And it became obvious that there were many people who felt as the way I did. We must stand up for our rights as citizens. We must read the papers, listen to television, use our blogs to find out what's going on. And if it isn't right, what is my responsibility? How can I help?
We compared at the end that if we looked at all the votes that the 4 supervisors got in the election that had put them into office, and then we compared that to the number of persons who had signed to have them removed from office, well, the statistics go something like this. 3 of the supervisors had a range of from 70 to 90% of the people that had voted for them in the last election wanted them gone. One of the supervisors only got a 33% rate like that. But she's the one that Dr. Nye just mentioned that got defeated 82% to 18%. She's also the one that had the district where our collectors were shooed away.
Close to 6,000 signatures were collected, and they could have gathered even more, but they actually stopped because they were told that any signatures above the minimum number needed would not be counted. The petitions were taken before a judge who rejected them on a technicality.
The main problem was that the judge claimed that each and every signature had to be notarized. You had to give their name, their signature, printed name, printed address. We had to have them testify under oath that it was indeed their signature. And if you take the length of paper that would be required for those signatures, it would have taken about, I think we figured out something, 600-foot roll of paper to submit.
To make matters even worse, the judge hit the group known as the Gloucester 40 with an $80,000 fine, which represented a portion of the legal fees of the Board of Supervisors they were trying to remove.
After we got whipped in court and were told what disreputable people we were, I went out in the hallway and groused to one of our members, and I said, "So this is democracy at work?" And his comment to me, which will always stick, he said, "There's no such thing as democracy unless you're worth fighting for it."
The Gloucester 40 took their fight to Richmond to make sure that this could not happen to anyone else in Virginia.
Delegate Morgan, Delegate Geer, and Senator Norman submitted House Bill 2465, which was to amend the law. The existing law allowed sanctions to be levied on people who submitted petitions. This was a direct violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution. I learned through this that that right is not a guarantee. It can be taken away by government or by judicial action if we're not vigilant.
But then Governor Kane wanted to add an amendment to the bill which said these protections to future petitioners would not apply if their acts were of malicious intent. This one change to the bill would dramatically weaken it, so the Gloucester 40 went back to Richmond to lobby for the bill's passage in its original form.
And we were told to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning and catch them before they went into session. Unbeknownst to us, they had a meeting with the governor, a breakfast meeting that morning. So we were in empty, dark hallways. But we walked up and down the hallways looking for the random delegate, the one who didn't go to breakfast. And then as the legislators walked from the General Assembly to the Capitol building, we met them. And every one of them who would talk to us, we stopped, asked them to reject the governor's amendments, and they did.
The bill was reintroduced, and Governor Kane signed it into law without his amendment. It was a major victory for the citizens of Gloucester, as well as all citizens across Virginia. And the overall lesson learned: stand up for your rights as citizens.
I feel that we have set an example that we can be proud of and have paved the way for future petitioners who will stand up for our rights.
The lesson is, from me, to never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. And in fact, we feel that we changed our community.
I met beautiful people, a group of nice people. And you just can't do each other wrong. My lesson is love one another, work together.
Our rights are not a guarantee. The Constitution may say it, but if you're not vigilant, if you don't watch, you may lose them. The other one is that ordinary people can make a difference. It's very difficult sometimes. It takes a lot of beating your head against a wall and a lot of buttonholing of legislators, but it can be done.